Hey, what's up guys? BJ Dell back with a new Let's Draw video, and today's video is totally different than anything I usually do. Instead of drawing a design from scratch by hand, I'm going to actually show you how to make a professional, crisp looking design just by using the shape tool. Then I'm also going to walk you through layers and how you can use layers as tools themselves to create designs that you don't always have to draw by hand. It's going to save you a lot of time and give you a really nice professional looking end result. So if you want to see me draw a monkey using those techniques and learn more, keep watching. Alright guys, so let's jump into today's video. Today's tutorial is all about how to make a design just using shapes. I'm also going to get into as well how important layers are, not just for dividing up your work and having a line layer and a shadow layer, highlights layer, and using it in a non-destructive way, but I'm going to show you how you can use layers as tools and how important it is to kind of start changing the way you think about layers and how you can start using those to make your designs the way you want to. There's a lot of cool things you can do by selecting, deleting layers, so on and so forth, that if you look at them like tools and kind of different objects that you can use to get to an end result, it's kind of change how you design overall and can add some really cool effects to your art. You can do a lot of neat stuff that you might not be able to do by hand. So let's jump into it. I'm gonna today just do a basic monkey. I'm using the iPad Pro 12.9 inch first gen and Procreate. Usually with my videos, I say, hey, if you're doing traditional work, you can follow along. You don't have to have a fancy tablet. This one is going to be pretty heavy on the digital side of things. You don't necessarily have to have an iPad. If you have any other tablet that has an art program that uses shapes and layers and so forth, you can use that as well. If you're using Photoshop, Illustrator, it's going to work the same way too. Just the concept. If you are doing traditional, I guess you can follow along because I'm going to be using basic shapes. So if you want to see how I come up with the shapes to do the monkey's head, you can kind of translate that over to regular pencil and paper drawings. So I'm not really going to use the Apple Pencil today because I'm just going to be doing these shapes, and I found that making these shapes actually works a lot better just using your finger. When you use the pencil, it kind of has this jagged line where your lines connect, and for some reason with the just using your finger, it doesn't actually do that. So I'm going to turn this into a circle, and to make these shapes, you just basically drag around till you get around. This is the basic shape of a circle. Hold down your finger until it locks, and then you can hit the circle button to make sure it's a perfect circle. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller just so I can fit the ears in here. That looks pretty good there. All right, let's go up here and change the color to kind of a lighter brown for the face and the ears. Here I'm going to go ahead and add a new layer on top of that brown layer. And then, actually, I'm not going to do that. Nope, making money. Should have turned that off or logged out. What I'm going to do is duplicate this layer. Since we already have a circle, it's just easier to do it like this. Drop the color in. If you're having problems with the color filling in all the way, if you're using lines and stuff, if you drop this down before you let go, you can actually slide left and right, and you'll see this color drop threshold comes up. So make sure it goes up all the way as far as up as you can get it without it going outside of the line. Sometimes it will fill the whole canvas. So if you are getting those jagged lines, just use that. So we're going to go ahead and kind of start adjusting this now. And this is going to be that mouth part at the bottom here. That looks pretty good there. All right, so let's go ahead and do one of the ears. So I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this layer. We're going to drop it. Actually, we won't even have to drop it behind. We'll just use this one. And then use the transform up here. And pull this out to the side for the ear. All right, so that's good. So let's go ahead and duplicate that again. And we're going to go ahead and fill that one in with this brown color. Then we're going to go up to the transform again and drop down the size of this. All right, there we go. You can see here, so everything's overlapping, so you kind of have the, you know, the break between the colors, which is nice. You can kind of tell what's going on. This is also a good technique too. I know a lot of people complain that they can't get the right lines. Their lines look shaky, or, you know, it just doesn't look good enough. With this, I mean, like I said, we're not using any lines. We're just using the shape tool. So this is going to give you a nice, really crisp, professional look to the designs. It really has that Illustrator look, but I like this because it's a little bit more hands-on. You're not having to use paths to, you know, change the shape of stuff. Makes it a little bit easier and more convenient. So we've got that. Let's go ahead and finish up this ear. I kind of want like another line coming inside the ear, and we're going to do that with a really dark, almost black here. So let's go ahead and duplicate that layer again. And you'll see this is how the layers start interacting with each other and how you can use the layers as tools without having to draw lines. So we've got this, and we don't want it just to be that solid. Basically, the look that I'm going for, and I am going to pull out the pencil here to show you this. The look that I'm going for is basically a line like this. That's what I'm looking for. But I don't, like I said, I don't want to draw anything on this. We just want to do shapes. So we've got that there. Let's go ahead and duplicate that black one that we just did. I'm going to fill this in with like super bright red so we can see it. So now that bright red is on top of that black that we just did. And what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of drag the corners of this until we get a nice round tapered line. And this is what I was talking about with using the layers as tools. So we're actually drawing lines right now that are going to look super crisp and smooth just by using the layers and selecting different layers and deleting. So now that we've got that red in there, we want to select this. So that's basically going to select that whole red, and then we're going to go down to this black, click on that, and then also click again and hit clear. What that's going to do is going to clear out any overlapping parts of that red with that black, and then turn off the red. And you see we've got that nice crisp line that comes down and around. I'm going to go ahead and move that a little bit to get a little bit tighter in here. I want it to kind of wrap around with the same curve as the rest of the ear, which it's not really doing right now. So I need to pull this. I'm using the warp one right now. You have a little bit more control. It's more like using the paths in Illustrator. So we got a nice curved line there. So now that we've got that ear done, let's go ahead and group these all together. And then we are going to slide this to the left and hit duplicate. Then we want to go up to our transform here and just flip it horizontally. We can go back to make sure freeform's on, as well as magnetic, because magnetic's going to lock it in on that same plane. So everything's going to be nice and even. Just let it go. All right, there we go. So we've got the ears. Let's go ahead and we can go ahead and use this red one now, I guess, and put this back on top. Let's drop in the color for the mouth, and we're going to make the parts where the eyes go. I want this kind of to be in the center. So then the other side's gonna connect right there in the middle. So I'm gonna take this one, slide it to the left and duplicate it. Go back up to our transform and flip horizontally and then slide it over. And the key here is trying to get it lined up so it's even on both sides, which I think that looks pretty good right there. So that's good there. Let's go ahead and go back up to our layers. Let's make a new layer. And I'm going to select this color here, the black, and we'll do the eyes with that. Kind of want some elongated ellipses here for the eyes. And fine tune those a little bit, make it a little bit smaller. There we go. And I am going to use the pencil for this part. I'm just going to put the circles in here, which if you've got it set big enough, really, since it's pressure sensitive, all you have to do is just touch down pretty hard for a big circle and then just lighter for a small circle. That's a lot easier than trying to draw those little guys. So, all right, I got that done. So go back up here, slide to the left, duplicate, and we're going to flip that one. There we go. Now let's go ahead and give this guy a mouth. So I'm going to go back to this black color, make a new layer, and let's do a circle here, fill it in, and then we're going to just kind of move it around, turn off magnetic here so I can get it the right shape. And once again, this is going to be using the other layers as tools to give us a nice line here. All right, there we go. So this is basically going to be the mouth down here, and I'll probably do some adjustments then. Duplicate this layer once again. You'll see I've got a lot of layers going on. That's why I recommend the iPad Pros. If you're working on, you know, high-res canvases, you're going to get a lot more layers. If you do this on one of the regular iPads, obviously you're going to have to go with pretty low res to be able to get these number of layers. So there's that. I drag and drop that in. So now we just need to adjust that layer to get that nice tapered line. And like I said before, just want to make sure that left side and right side match up. Let's go ahead and select the red, go down to the black, clear, and then delete this red, and he's got a mouth. So now we're going to go ahead and adjust this mouth a little bit too big, so let's bring it in a bit. And right there. So you see, starting to look really professional, really crisp, really nice. Let's go ahead and make a nose then. And let's just do a kind of a triangle for the nose. I think the triangles overlap a little bit. I've never been able to get a really good, perfect triangle. So I think what I'm going to do, I am going to use the pencil here and just draw in a triangle. This is really easy to fix too, just because of the way that the lines lock on here. So if you go to the eraser tool and just drag and hold down with your pencil, and then you can kind of swing it out to adjust. And it's not going to erase till you let go, so I'm just going to try to get it even there. Same thing here, just pull it up and stop and let go, and then we'll do the top here. All right, there we go. And then I'm going to kind of shrink it in and make it a little bit smaller, a little bit cuter. Perfect. All right, and then from there, if you want to, you can go ahead and add shadows and highlights as well. Same thing here, you don't have to draw them. So let's go to the ears and let's kind of shadow in this part here. So let's go ahead and make a red circle again. On a new layer, I'm going to drag this in. Then we just want to position this. Oops. I think I drew that in with the other layer. Yep, I sure did. So let's kick that back out. Make a new layer. Make this circle here. And I just use red. I use something that's not used in the canvas that you can see pretty easily and then change the color when I need to. This is going to make it a lot better than if we add shadows in here using a black right off, because you're not going to be able to see where it's coming out of. And then what I'm doing is just trying to line up, blow this up a little bigger so you can see it. I'm just trying to line up this circle with the way that that taper comes down. That looks pretty good there. So let's go ahead and drop this down behind here. And then we're going to go ahead and fill that in with black now that it's there. Go up here to our adjustments layer, go to opacity, and then just drop that down. Perfect. And then we can just go ahead and duplicate that one. Hopefully it'll line up between the left and the right side. That's pretty close. Just throw that in there. Then you can always go back in and, you know, kind of manually adjust it as well if you need to. You can use the freeform here, or warp lets you get in a little bit closer to fine tune it, which I might have to do there up at the top. It's kind of coming out there, or you can just fill in that little part there. All right, and then if you want to, you know, add eyebrows in there, you can do that with just the line tool, just by dragging that across. You could also, you know, make a rectangle as well, or if you know, you wanted to actually duplicate this mouth layer, we could even use that. Let's do that. Let's duplicate the mouth layer. I'm gonna flip it vertically here. Just put it right there. And let's just drag the eraser straight down the center. So that's a possibility there. You could also flip one of them, so he's kind of got a goofy look to him. So let's just lasso that one, and we'll transform it. Make it a little bit smaller here. You know, so you could do something like that. Totally up to you how you want to go about it. Like I said, or you could just do the straight lines across here as well. That's another option. So that's basically it. The other thing you can do too with, like I said, a complete design, showing layers once again. Let's add like a square frame around this. So let's go ahead and knock this in with black, and then let's make another layer on top of that. Once again, this is just using layers as tools to kind of complete some of the things that you might not be able to do with the actual tools included with the program. So we're just going to bring these in. Kind of want this to be, you know, the same thickness around. I'm just eyeballing it, but I think that's pretty good there. So then we're going to select that red, and we're just going to delete it from the black and clear. And now you've got a nice frame that goes around. You can pull this in so you can see it from the sides. And now you got a nice, you know, frame around the monkey. So, all right, that's it for the tutorial. Hopefully, you know, you guys found a new way of looking at layers, kind of seeing them more as tools and less as a way to separate between, you know, highlights and shadows and your color flats layer. And like I said, you can get some really cute looking, super professional, sharp looking designs by using this technique. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. As always, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. If you found today's video informative, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit the bell for notifications so you can get alerted when I post new videos. Also, I've talked about it on every video, but still want to invite you guys over if you haven't yet. Facebook group called Keep Creating, a Learn, Draw, Share art community. People are posting new designs over there. The weekly art challenge is being held over there as well. Want you guys to join, so hop on over. But as for me, I can be found online, bjdell.com, and on Instagram and Twitter at bjdell. So until next time, keep creating.